everybody. Hi everyone, friends on Facebook and YouTube. I'm going to do some study of Cymbidium Chinese orchid. Um, this is a borrowed plant from a friend in LA. She grows Chinese orchid here, and until early this year, we had no chance to study real Chinese wild orchid or Cymbidium, the official name of the orchid uh, in life. And so this is our opportunity to take a close look of this plant. And I will answer all the questions I have got over the years in my online class, lesson 1 on orchid painting, um, as well as the recent questions we got from our viewers on YouTube and Facebook. So while we are preparing the painting, I would introduce some knowledge about the utensils, the tools. Um, we have basic Chinese brushes to start with. With our starter kit, you get 3 basics or 5 basics from our website. They're basically soft and stiff. In orchid painting, I'll prefer the stiff brush, and as you probably have seen in early yesterday's live event, we did the music video. I used the mountain horse brush. You can also get from our online store if you like the stiff ones. Also, you can use raccoon brush or bear brush or weasel brush. They are all belong to the stiff brush family. And the next one I'm going to talk is the ink. I used the ink cake, um, and the advantage for using ink cake is that you don't have to grind, and you just dampen the brush with water and then brush off the ink. So you will see, like white brush become dark, right? And the disadvantage is, if you write calligraphy or something, you use a lot of ink. This may be too slow, so you can use bottled ink. Or grind your own ink with water. What I found the best practice is to use a little bit ink, not just pure water, and then I should use a little spoon or something. Let me just pour a little bit of water, maybe 1 to 1. I have just answered a question on my YouTube channel. Artist friend viewer tried to grind a few ounces of ink, and he tried grind it with an ink stick for 2 hours. We won't get anything dark enough. Maybe the stone should be correct. If you use a too smooth stone, it might be too slow, but or too coarse stone, it might be too rough. So you have to use good decent stone. And this is the ink stick I use. I have been using this for since I got to the States. I think it's probably around 30 years. I use a little wrap foil, aluminum wrap to protect it from the moisture, water, so you will not get cracked. And because it's become too short, I use a bamboo clamp to extend it so I can hold it. You can get this clamp from from online store of WuhanArts.com. So I used a little bit ink and a little bit water to grind it. In the early video I mentioned that it takes about 5 minutes. That's what I mean. If you use pure water, it will be longer. If you grind a lot, you try to make a amount for your whole day use, then maybe you can grind for 1 hour, half an hour to get enough. But for this demo, I just grind maybe 1 minute. Let's see what happens. So you press evenly and grind gently. It should be slowly. Until you see the ink become a thin paste. So you see the trace. When you grind it, you see the trace. I think I cannot show you the surface of the stone because it will still. The rule of thumb is you need to make it really dark. If you write calligraphy, the darker the better. For painting, we also use dark ink, and then you dilute it with water to get gray. I think I got dark enough. And you should dry the ink stick with paper towel. Don't let it stay in the ink stone like that. It will destroy the stone. It will stick on it, and if you take it, you may make the stone surface destroy the stone surface. Let me get some paper towel. Okay. Let me clean the stone, so just put it away. I will use regular watercolor. If you don't wet mount your painting, you can use just regular watercolor. If you wet mount it, it will smear. So you better use Chinese painting colors. And okay, someone just asked about how do I set up my easel. I use a whiteboard. You can use any easel, to for this purpose. It could be just like a children's, wood drawing easel or something like that. So this one is very unstable. I bought this one from online supplier. It says you can tilt it you can tilt it flat, but I haven't really used that function. So any easel that just regular easel should work. Okay, this is a magic class. Um, you can use a clean brush with water to practice your strokes. This brush is the mountain horse brush. So let's say we can practice the stroke. This is very important. Okay, uh, until you feel comfortable with your hand, start to get a good feel of the brush. Um, this is a good practice material to use instead of practice on paper. You can practice on the magic class, or you can use West painting or newspaper, newsprint to practice your strokes. So it takes lots of practice to get the feel of the brush. Okay, so basically you practice how to vary the width of the stroke. I mean the leaf of the orchid. So you can, if you look at the model here, you see the turns and curves. But if you try to feel it, it's quite strong than a grass. It's much stronger than a grass. It's very stiff, kind of. So you try to indicate that kind of in your line quality. So try to make a line between round, a curve, and a straight. And try to create instead of we call it the phoenix eye, the new moon, the crescent shape, phoenix eye. You try to make it more, with triangles. This negative space is very important in Chinese brush painting. So not just paint what you do, what you concentrate on what you do. It's more important to keep the shape of the empty space, the unpainted space, nicely. Okay. We haven't talked about the paper. Let me grab some paper. Actually, I have one paper here. Let me just try this. This is good for beginners. It's mulberry paper. The mulberry paper in our store has 4 kinds: the number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5 also. Number 1 is here. It's a smooth one with no long fibers. It might be good for flowers. And number 2 is mulberry paper with stringy fiber, or is also well known as dragon cloth paper. The Japanese name for that is dragon cloth. It has stringy fiber, more stringy fiber. This one is relatively less fibrous, so it's a little smoother. You see why I just turned the magic cloth over, because it's kind of waterproof. It won't stain the board underneath it. So, and it gives me a little bit gray, so even I use water, you can see it. My stroke better, I hope. Let me lift a little bit the angle so you can see the top of it. You see this one? I also broadcast on YouTube. If your angle is not working, just go to YouTube or Facebook, try different angles. Alright, so I will use one brush for leaf with ink and one brush for the flowers. Okay, let me use this one for the color. So just put the color here. And I use old brush made in Japan actually. It's just more like the stiff hairbrush, just like the hawk hairbrush. I see. It's very old. It's not very pointed. Let me see. But all the brush when become old, it will lose hair and got even unglued. So I had my friend in China fixed it. So there are two inscriptions on this brush. One is from the original maker, and another from Repair, which is also a very known Chinese brush maker. Okay, I would I'll use this as a palette. Just dilute a little ink with water. If someone may ask if I can control the bleeding with something, yes, you can use peach sap glue. Peach sap is a glue. It comes in powder form. And you can dilute with some water and the ink to make a gray. Because when I add more water, it will become more. It tends to bleed more, but you can control the amount of water in the brush with the paper towel. So the brush is not as much as you would load when you paint on regular watercolor paper. So this one is, especially the bottom of the brush, need to be controlled. The moisture need to be controlled. So I blot the bottom of the brush with a paper towel. Okay, then I load a little darker ink to the tip. So my gradation is light to dark. Right. Now I'm looking at the painting. When I look at the real flower, let me focus on that. Okay. When I look at the real flower, I look for a pattern, the three-stroke pattern, a well-known pattern called the phoenix eye. It starts from a long stroke. Okay. The long stroke is where the root is. Okay, so you need to decide where the root is. Usually, it will be outside sometimes, or in this case we have a plant linked to the left, so I'll start about a third here. Maybe some leaf will go outside to suggest more. So I need to think like when I paint first stroke, I try to make it to go up and then go down and then come back. Make almost like a circle, like an anzo, the Chinese, the Japanese calligraphy, Zhang Zi circle. But you don't try to make it rounded. You need to go into sections. You can see that the leaves has some turning point, even a sharp turning point at the top. So I go curve and then stop, and another curve. So at the turning point, when it goes down, it has a sharp turn. Okay, let's go. Start pressing and then lift. Okay, some people are very afraid to press, so they just do a very pointed start. Actually, you should go down before you go up. So there's an opposite movement like that. I go down and then quickly go up. Lift, lift, and then press, 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 press. Lift, lift. Okay, so your control should go all the way to the tip, and even after you lift the brush away from the paper. You can see there are some breaks in the line, in the stroke. We call it loss in the font. So idea completes with absence of stroke. You don't have to go back to fix it. You can use supportive lines to either hide it or connect it. There are many ways, but don't repeat it. That's the rule. Let me see if you can see. All right. Now the second one, it's basically a supporting stroke that follows the original, the first one. The first one decides which side is top and which side is bottom. I mean, earth and heaven. We call it that, separate earth from heaven. The second one try to develop that. So I go up, and then we can, because this area is kind of loose. So I only want one point, one breaking point, not two, right? So I try to fix that with this stroke. This is just do it according to the occasion. So this one is connected all the way. So that I hide that, if there's no more break there. So you have to make this kind of decision constantly, before you do the next stroke. I would say, this may be just too smooth. Maybe I can break that line, but remember, don't cross 3 strokes in a single point at the single point. So that's another rule. There are too many rules to break. But know the rule and then you break it. So the third stroke, I can go a little bit. Third stroke will go straight and then break this area. You don't have to break that area because we have 2 phoenix eye or 2 new moon shape areas, so we need to break. Okay, let's do. We can actually, you can also change the original stroke. This one was done in 1 stroke, right? Now I can make this as the 3rd stroke. So just simply go up, so as if this one is the 3rd stroke. I don't have to do that. Then I have to. I can make this one starting from another point, but you don't really have to make clear all those lines, the root of each stroke. The whole shape is more important, the whole picture. So I first of all I divided the heaven from earth. The second one created these areas. Now the third one kind of divide this area into 2, right? This is this is how you look at your composition, not just if the this line is resembling anything there, but more important on what happened on your paper, how the negative space is shaped with each of your stroke. So I try to follow this stroke. I'm looking at some leaves there. They're long and short leaves. One long, one short. Okay. Now I remind myself, keep this area a big white area, empty area. And maybe this one will be medium size, this is small size. So it's very easy to fill in this empty space quickly, and then you don't have much room for imagination. Now I try to find inspiration from the real plant. Let's see if Facebook can see this. Okay. Yeah, it's good to step back and see the whole picture. I try to do another one that break that edge, because this side is kind of empty now. I mean, I need to divide into two sections. Divide that line, break that line. I see it's quite straight leaf that bending that straight line. That's what I try to use for my purpose. So I don't have to worry about the lower part. I just do the upper part for now because that comes to my mind. I got a bump there. This kind of line would be fault or wrinkle would be done after mounting. So it's okay to have this kind of flowers. That comes from the manufacturer actually. So you can see sometimes I do in different directions. So I just when I do the live performance yesterday with music, I try to keep my brush on the paper as much as possible. So you don't have to. You can go, one up and one down. Just keep it flow with the music. One long, one short. Okay, let's take another look. Now I have to think to make some interesting negative shape here near the bottom. As you can see, the plant has several growths, maybe 3. So you need to indicate that. Let's do another growth. This will be a major growth. And I will make another growth next to it, because they start to split, to grow horizontally from the side to in spring, after flowering, they'll start to grow new plants from the root. We call it runners, right? Technically it's called runners. So we have another runner here. Let's start from here, and I see there's a perspective, a short, foreshortened view of the leaf there. And then I have I try to invade that space, but still, I have to break it a little bit, but try to keep that area, the largest area of the angle that we did earlier. Sometimes my subconscious take over There's no reason. I just do it. See, I just finished several strokes in one movement. Okay, not repeat. What happens if the stroke is too dry? You can use light ink to do another layer maybe behind it, so you will give more moisture. So I just add a little water maybe to the brush without touching the ink, just a little water. You can use, this is a reverse gradation now from light to dark. So I can start to do the stalk of the flower. I see there's this flower actually come from the root. They're actually not from the middle of the leaf, like iris is different. Okay, it comes from the root somewhere. So let me just do it here. It's too dry. Okay. Now I use a little bit dark ink to the tip of the brush to try to get this gradation. There are two large petals on the left and the right, one on top, and then two, we call it 藤瓣, like embracing, I call it embracing petals to surround a pollen area, the center. So that's the, but we don't have to do this exactly like what we see here. So this is very important. All the flowers coming from the center stalk. So this is the center, right? The center stalk. This is the secondary stem. You don't have to do this secondary stem, actually, but you have to keep that in mind. So they're not flying in the air, too far from the stalk. That's why I do this stalk first. I could do the leaves first if I have this stalk in mind. This is a side view. Okay, and then another one. Just they're talking to each other, not just facing all directions. You know, you have to create some communication between the flowers. So this is a group. It's the first group, I'll say. Then there's an individual one on this side, a little far from the others. Kind of like that. And then two more here. One back view. And then one front view, but they're facing each other. I don't have to worry about the backlit. In the Chinese painting, we do it as a silhouette, you know, the profile, not considering the light and so forth. You don't have to combine this line to cross the hot cross the leaf. This is behind this stock is behind this leaf, so I'll just leave it like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Let's do another one here. We just add it according to the composition our needs. Okay. And then you use dark ink to dot the center. Oh, I forgot to use colors. Actually, this paper is not very good for the colors. I will use different paper like the Shuan rice paper to do to use the color effect. So this one I just use different tonality of ink for color instead of color. Yesterday, the music, background music, is called Flowing Water, High Mountain and Flowing Water. So the high mountain is the background, flowing water, with flowing water. So I had to paint the background because the paper is very good for landscape painting. So I'm going to do that. I have some large brush with a short handle. This one is a stiff one. It's a testing piece. I will try it. If it's good, we'll carry it. And this one, it was the first I bought. And you can get this one right now from our website. This one is the handle is extremely short. I don't feel very comfortable with that. But the brush head is pure. It's not a combination. It's a pure wolf or weasel hair. So I kind of like it. So we just do a background wash. The orchid grows along a slope usually. So there's no accumulated water. They're just kind of passing through water. And so let's do some. I have student online commented. She likes the splotches. Splotches. I think that's the word. This is a splash of very subtle splashes of color or ink. Just suggest a background with a very light ink. And then you can paint the other. I did a river kind of bank on the other side here. And we don't have to today, so just see, maybe just suggest it. And you can suggest some water. And maybe it turns into a river or stream here. This is very light ink, so basically it will not even show. But it's good to, you can use light ink to start. If it's something you want to emphasize, you can add it right into it. And then we need to write something there. if the background is not dry, you cannot write on it. So I can use a hair dryer. Let me get some, get an ink, a seal and an ink pad. Here. How do you like it? Let me know if you have any questions or comments. I'll come back in a minute. Okay, now I have some thought to write. Okay, it says with the fragrance in fragrance, happily painting the Cymbidium. You know, the Chinese painting theory, there's a saying, you paint orchid with happiness, and paint bamboo with angry. So happiness here. 喜香 fragrance, I can smell it, the fragrance here. Painting orchid happily. This says enjoyable as immortals, okay? Because orchid lives like in the remote mountains where the immortals live. So I feel like in that environment with the fragrance of real orchid. And then I write the year of the pig. Early summer. This is the summer orchid with multiple flowers and one stalk. If the spring orchid, you know, there's only 2 flowers, very short stem near the bottom. So this one is very, it's much larger than spring flowers. Okay, early summer, and then my name. Li Xiaohui. Okay. I have carved a seal for the my birthday. So let me put that on. This is a mood seal. A mood seal from Confucius. Confucius book. He wrote that he become he reached some cultivation stage when he become older and older. So when he got to 60, his ear become an obedient organ to receive truth. The obedient ear is this seal. It become the age for people who reached 60. So, 耳顺, ear obedient, obedient. So there's no rejection to anything. So just feel free to comment. Okay. So you can detect the subtle meaning and the truth behind anything you hear when you become 60. That's the seal on top. Now the signature seal, the seal with signature is my painting seal. It says Xiaohui painting seal. This was a seal done by an artist in Nanjing. I think he just got about 60 years old when he come to our university to give us a lecture on the seal engraving art. He did this seal for me right before the lecture. Unfortunately, he got a heart attack that evening and he passed away. So this was his last seal. Anyway, so I really treasure it. Xiaohui painting seal. Okay, that's the first painting. If you like, I can use a different paper and the color to do another one. Okay, let me know how you like it so far. Any questions? I cannot see any live comments. Is this live still? Let me. It says live now, but I don't see people watching.
I think something that's enormously fun for any young writer is just thought
Okay, I got a few thumbs up, which is good. Love that. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Bento, for your comment. Let me know if you have any question. Let me change the paper and we'll do another one, okay? Let me find a white felt so you can see color better. Okay, you can see I use a strong magnet stud, kind of magnetic pin. You can get from our online store that will hold both the paper and the felt. So you don't have to use tape or anything to hold your felt. I have different sized ones here. This one is stronger. You don't have to use this big ones, actually the small one will work as well. Just make sure you use the rare earth magnetic pushpin. It's a strong magnetic. This paper is antique colored with a little gray tone, if you can see it from the video. And let me, okay. Let me clean the brush. This one is still clean, which is good. Get some colors here. I use Daniel Smith colors. There's a color called green gold, which is very good for the green, yellowish green flowers. And you can use any other cold yellow, lemon yellow, something like that. As a base. Yeah, I think that we should do it. Maybe I can just use the basic brush this time. I still like the old brush, the stiff brush, but if you want, I can show you the basic brush. Maybe we can try that. So I will be using the same beginner's brush, In a beginner set, we have this basic wolf hair brush. They are actually professional quality ones. They're less expensive because the Japanese brush that I used is more than $100 these days, I think. I got it 40 years ago for 50. And then in early 80s, in late 80s, I bought some at $80. I think now they must be over 100 in Japan. The mountain horse brush, really expensive. Okay, now this brush is only like less than $10, like $7 brush, but it will do the work. Okay. Should I try to move that model? Maybe we don't have to. We just keep doing this, but in a smaller. Because my brush is smaller, maybe so I can paint a little smaller. You can give a background first. Just use this brush. So we can do. We don't do the vase. We just make it. This is like a rock, just like a mountain environment. Some rock. We'll do some more later. Okay, now I paint the first stroke. And then second stroke, like you just heard, to form this area, and then this straight leaf, and then just continue with this three stroke formula. I really don't have to see the trace. I keep an eye on the space, the negative space. So I try to make decision all the time if I need to break that or leave it. You can do just some strokes like in the middle part. If you see a real dense area, you don't have to consider the crown, and then you can do some another leaf, another growth, like so. Then you so there are actually three parts: the root part, the middle, with a lot of crossing, and then the top. This is a more advanced approach. Advanced approach means that you look at the whole picture more than the individual strokes. You treat the section in terms of composition than just the individual strokes. So this is the difference between the pro and the student. This is so even, so I need to make this stroke longer. So you can actually combine two strokes if you're pro and you know what you're doing. Okay, let me use my color brush. You can get a little bit red to the green to do the stalk. It's a purplish color. Very dark actually. This is too red maybe. Irisary crimson or rose madder should do that. Okay, and then change color to green, yellow. I use the color from the tube but dried in this pen. You can either paint the petals from inside out or outside in. I think doesn't matter as long as you can get that shape. It's called lian or lotus. Lotus 荷. This flower in Chinese is 郑孝和. It's someone's name with the shape of the petal. It's very important to make a difference between different species. And that's why it is a award-winning piece in American Orchid Society, because the first time they had this kind of shape bloom in the States. So they took pictures today, I think, yesterday, of another potted flower for the record. I took this one home to study painting. I hope you enjoy as much as I do. The maximum is 9, so better just do a little less, maybe 7. Let me do a bud. The bud is shaped like a persimmon fruit, very full. With this stand, so. Let me make it maximum. It's a good number with 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. Will be the last one here. Okay, let's wash a little bit the background with my big brush, and we can use some amber, some yellow ochre or something, with a little bit ultramarine or cobalt to make it gray. The Chinese painting paper absorbs. It takes a lot of paints. You better use fresh paints. I think it's just like grinding ink and bottled ink. It's not enough if you use only this. there's a Spanish moss around the plant for decoration purpose. We can just use some dry stroke to indicate that kind of. And we don't have to do the sky or the background, but if you want, we can wash a little bit. For the pollen, I will use a little bit purple. That's what we have on the plant. So a little bit red, just like a classical painting book idea. Okay, and maybe add a little bit wash to the distant mountain with a little bit light. Maybe a suggestion of a sky or mountain, whatever. Okay, now time to write. Okay. This one is a little bit too high on top, so maybe we should write something on the bottom, simply just my name, maybe. So to anchor it, we just write the date and the name. Summer, year of the pig. meaning painting the life, painting from life. In this case, the life flower. Life sketch. Okay, so this one is very sketchy also. Maybe just put a painting seal there. Life sketch. Okay. Shall we painting seal? I hope you enjoyed watching these two demos, and I will do some more with this plant, maybe change into a different angle next time. Stay tuned. Until next time. Bye bye.